Montclair Art Museum has mounted the first major American exhibit of art created in the 1990s, between the fall of the Berlin Wall and 9/11. Come As You Are, Art of the 1990s features the art that defined an era, its politics, and its technological and cultural breakthroughs.
A lot of mainstream institutions, big museums, started tackling these very charged political issues, very controversial artists, and bringing in many more artists of color, many more women artists, LGBT artists than were traditionally seen in museum walls. So it was kind of an opening up of this dialogue and really taking it on in a very forceful way that I think we really hadn't seen until that time. Artists are always kind of the canaries in the coal mine. With the internet came the shrinking of the world. The world became so much smaller, it became so much easier to communicate. Travel really picked up internationally. And I think those artists are all processing that and thinking about how that affects how we live day to day, as well as the bigger picture.
Featured in the exhibit is a piece of internet art by married Montclair-based artists Mendi and Keith Obadike, titled Blackness for Sale.
We auctioned my Blackness on eBay. And so sometimes when people see the documentation, they think, oh, the project is the documentation, but this was something that sort of happened in real time for a sort of limited moment. And yeah, I mean, we sort of just announced it to our little community of artists, but we were surprised that it sort of had this life outside of the group of artists we were talking to, and it got reprinted in magazines in Ireland and in Russia and in Norway and South Africa. I mean, that was a sort of odd time when people might take something that was happening on the internet and print it on paper, right?
So that it would get wider distribution.
that doesn't really happen today, usually.
They used eBay, which at the time in 2001 was very new, and they were, as far as I know, the first artists to take on a web institution and tweak it and kind of figure out how that could be used in a creative way. It was one of the first art pieces to go viral. And then it was shut down by eBay. They told them it was inappropriate and they took it down.